Top of the morning to you on this Friday, August 15th. I'm SBJ senior writer Joe Lemire bringing you the Morning Buzzcast. Our headlines today: Olympic venue naming rights, an NIL-centric apparel deal, progress on MLB media rights agreements, the release of the NBA schedule, and yes, even a preview of a weekend charity softball game. But first, we've got news from LA 28. In a notable shift in IOC policy, the forthcoming Summer Games 3 years from now will be the first to permit the organizing committee to sell naming rights for Olympic and Paralympic venues in what could be a major revenue driver for the Games. Our Rachel Axon has the details on sportsbusinessjournal.com, including the first two commitments. The Honda Center, the usual home of the Anaheim Ducks, will host Olympic volleyball and retain its brand name for the tournament. Also, the first of 20 temporary venues received a naming right sponsorship with the Comcast Squash Center at Universal Studios. Other permanent facilities to host Olympic sports include SoFi Stadium and the Intuit Dome, but there's no word yet whether those companies will spend to keep their moniker in place for the Games. Those rights would not be sold to other brands if the current holders opt not to spend for the Olympics. This policy change is being described as a pilot program, with the IOC noting in a statement that the reality is that many venues in Los Angeles and in the U.S. already have commercial naming rights and have become commonly recognized as such by the general public. This, therefore, takes into account market realities and helps generate critical revenue. Even without new permanent venue construction, the LA 28 Games has a budget of $7.1 billion. So these deals, which Casey Wasserman said could carry 9-figure price tags in some instances, can certainly help. While noting a desire to not, quote, tchotchke up the whole event, Wasserman noted, it's a new sell, so a little bit is to see what the market bears. We think it's significant. I hope the buyers agree with that, but it's all incrementally additive to our existing sponsorship budget. So anything we get from our perspective is a win. The University of Tennessee will have a new apparel sponsor beginning with the 2026-27 school year, as it will switch from Nike to Adidas on a 10-year deal. To be clear, this is actually a switch back. In fact, this is a return to Knoxville for Adidas, which previously supplied the Volunteers from 1995 to 2015. The agreement is being described as lucrative, with plans to boost the promotion of UT athletes from all of its 20 sports and to even do so in national ad campaigns. The influx of new money will help Tennessee fill its coffers for the new revenue sharing with its athletes. The Knoxville News-Sentinel reported that former Tennessee and WNBA superstar Candace Parker, who is also Adidas president of women's basketball, helped facilitate the Adidas deal with her alma mater, and she will have a voice in the brand's marketing strategy. Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White told Yahoo Sports that the impact on NIL was a key consideration in this deal, desiring it as, quote, one of the biggest apparel deals in the history of college sports, which means it's likely at least 8 figures annually in total value. Chris McGuire, who's an Adidas Vice President of Sports Marketing for North America, said, the arms race was originally about facilities. Now it's gone to rev share and NIL. McGuire went on to describe this as the first one of a new model, providing legitimate NIL opportunities beyond the cap of available revenue-sharing dollars. Over to baseball, MLB continues to make progress on the negotiations for the limited broadcast rights it has available. The Athletic reported that those packages could be split several different ways, with Netflix, ESPN, NBC, and Apple all involved on adding elements. The story from Andrew Marchand noted that Netflix has its eyes on the Home Run Derby, while NBC/Peacock and Apple are the frontrunners for Sunday Night Baseball and/or the first-round playoff games. Those are the windows being vacated by ESPN as it has opted out of its current deal. But sources said ESPN may well remain involved with weekday games and possibly a larger digital presence. All of the possible arrangements would be for 3 seasons so that the rights expire along with all the other national deals after the 2028 season. The NBA released its new season schedule on Thursday afternoon, and it was especially notable as it's the first under the new transformative new media deals for the league. Consistency of programming and discoverability are critical, writes our Austin Karp, with the league expanding its national game inventory from 172 last year to 247 this season. Here's the recap, and there'll be a quiz later, of when to tune in to what broadcasters. Monday will be a Peacock night. Tuesday will be NBC and/or Peacock. Wednesday is for ESPN. Thursday is for Prime Video, but only starting mid-season after NFL Thursday Night Football ends. Friday, we'll have games on Prime Video all season and on ESPN starting at the midway point. Saturday afternoon games are on Prime Video and Primetime on ABC, with both of those starting in the middle of the season. Sunday, we'll have games on ABC/ESPN in the afternoons and NBC/Peacock in primetime, again, both starting mid-season, with Sunday Night Football giving way to Sunday Night Basketball. Got all that? Well, one important detail about those Saturday matinees on Prime, as our Tom Friend writes, is that Prime's international reach means those games will be in prime time over in Europe, and the matchups will purposefully feature global stars. The Spurs, with Victor Wembanyama, for example, will play in 4 of the 8 games in that window. Prime will also be the home to NBA's global games. The Magic and Grizzlies will compete in those, with German brothers Franz and Moritz Wagner playing for the Magic. The 2 contests will be in Berlin and London, a notable precursor to those cities being considered favorites to landing NBA Europe franchises if and when that league gets formed. Okay, pop quiz time, hotshot. I wasn't kidding. What network will have Friday games? Cue the Jeopardy music while you think about it. And the answer that you hopefully remember was Prime Video all season and ESPN joining them mid-season. I also want to highlight a new industry group that just formed, the Institute for Sports Tech Standards. It's launching to fill a need shared by governing bodies, leagues, teams, and tech companies. There's no universal testing process in the sports industry, no accreditation standards, no blueprint for vetting and validation. Some of the vendors have to get certified by one league and then have pretty much a duplicate test for another. This new body is hoping to solve for that. It's being led by a pair of experienced operators in the space, Jessica Zendler, who leads the sports science practice at Rimkus Consulting and who manages the NBA's wearable validation program, and also Sam Robertson, a tech consultant for TCG Advisory with deep experience doing tests for FIFA's quality program and more than a decade spent in academia at Australia's Victoria University. If you look around the global sports landscape, the NBA and FIFA are 2 standouts for having perhaps the most robust testing programs. And now the shared experience from both of those will help other leagues establish their protocols and also work with the IEEE, an existing accreditation program, to set up accepted standards in the sports tech space, starting with object and ball tracking. As Zendler told me, quote, "There's no consumer reports of sports tech. Everyone wants this, but no one does it. So what do we need to do to make it happen?" Good on them for stepping forward. I'll be heading out to Long Island tomorrow to play in the 77th annual Artists and Writers Charity Softball Game. The celebrity alumni list for this game is remarkable. Jackson Pollock helped organize the first one. Some of the participants later on included Alan Alda, Chevy Chase, Cindy Crawford, John Irving, Paul Simon, Kurt Vonnegut, George Plimpton, Norman Lear, several Baldwin brothers, Regis Philbin, Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, and more. Bill Clinton showed up more than once to be the umpire. I made my debut last year with former Mets closer John Franco as our team's pitcher. Katie Couric and Mike Lupica were teammates. Former regular Carl Bernstein took batting practice with the team. Blythe Danner stopped by. I clearly cheapened the celebrity factor of the game, and I'll tell a quick story. The MC of the event has a microphone and does play-by-play of the afternoon. When my brother, Jonathan Lemire, a true celebrity I have to admit, first batted last summer, the MC detailed his work on Morning Joe and discussed his New York Times best-selling book. When I got to the plate, she reminded the fans that the kids' concession stand was now open. In any event, it was a hard-fought game, but the Artists did prevail 11-10 in a 12-inning affair last year, so I can assure you that the writers will be seeking revenge. Abe Madcore will return with the Buzzcast on Monday. I'll be off on vacation next week, and I'm excited to bring my daughter to her very first Major League game at Fenway Park. It's the same ballpark where I went to my first game and where my parents had their first date. And I should add, we'll be celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary while I'm back home on this very same trip. Should be a great time at home. I hope all of you have a great week. This is Joe Lemire, signing off.